It was an event that combined music and magic at Trump National and brought everyone in the community out to support the local charity Freedom for You. Host and founder Dr. Greg Allen talks about the charity.
Freedom for You has been going on for 10 years as a youth nonprofit here in the Hill. Last 5 years we had a Evening with the Stars was our theme, so we've kind of changed the theme of music and magic. So tonight we have magicians that are performing, we have 3 different types of music that's happening, and it's a great night. A lot of people came out to support the kids on the Hill.
And since there was a little magic in the air, some of our local residents shared some of their own favorite magic tricks.
Oh, I think what fascinates me most about magic is levitation. I can't believe that can really happen, and I don't know how it's done.
How about you, Liz?
I think it's the disappearing act, you know, the distraction to take your attention away from something else and making something disappear.
Oh, well, clearly it's the levitation. Okay. It's the levitation trick. I cannot figure it out. And they wave the ring in and out. I don't get it.
Okay. How about you?
Let's see. I saw some fabulous ones at the Magic Castle a couple of years ago, but now I can't remember what they were. They were so good, though.
You might see some of those tonight.
I saw one just recently on YouTube, a Chinese chap. It's called Magic Birds.
Magic Birds?
Yeah, it was so good. He was able to like come up with all these birds on his hands, and it was really good.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's mine.
Okay.
I can do it. Yeah. Ever since I was a little girl, my aunt showed me a magic trick out of a napkin.
Okay.
Well, I think the levitation stuff's pretty good.
Okay.
And of course, cutting women in half, I think that's good.
And if you would like to support Freedom for You, you can always reach out at freedomcommunity.com. The Palos Verdes Chamber of Commerce hosted their annual luncheon to bring together businesses and their local legislators. The forum was set up allowing a question and answer session. Eileen Hupp and Marilyn Lyon tell us more. What do you think are the biggest concerns for businesses?
I think that they're concerned about the state of the economy and, of course, the state and federal budget. And, you know, uncertainty is something that Wall Street never likes. And so to the extent that there's uncertainty in Sacramento and Washington, I think our businesses are going to want to hear about that today.
Okay. Marilyn, you've been working in this industry for a long time. What are you kind of hearing out there?
What I'm hearing is from our businesses, they just want to be able to talk to the legislators and let them know those regulations you're thinking about doing, please hear us and know that that's going to get in the way of business growing. And business, when it grows, provides more jobs. So they've just got to realize that not all regulations are good. They're not healthy for our economy. And they need to think about it twice and really get the opinion of the entire spectrum, including business.
Many of the legislators, including State Senator Ted Lieu and Senator Roderick Wright, talk about their biggest challenges working with the business community.
Often you can go to Sacramento or Washington and you're a bit detached because it's a kind of parallel universe sometimes. And so to be able to come back, and whether or not it's the bank or Kaiser or whomever it is, to be able to actually look at them and go, okay, this is what we did, and they can say this is what we need, and you know, they can sometimes tell you this is how what you did actually works in real life. So there's a good exchange that happens.
What are you hearing out there from the business community? What kind of questions are they asking?
You know, largely it is how do we get out of some of the regulatory networks and nightmares that they have. And in some instances it might be that, like one bill I'm doing, it's commercial, SB 1099 would say that regulations would come out twice a year. Because one of the things that happen is that there are some 30 or 40 state agencies who can all promulgate regulations every day. So you could have a regulation that would affect you come from different agencies that would come out 2 times a week. And so it's very difficult, particularly for a small business, to have the infrastructure to keep up with all those changes. So we're trying to say you do it in January, you do it in July, and then if there's a need, if there's an urgency, that you could promulgate an emergency reg so that if there was something for public safety or health or something, you wouldn't be bound by that. But otherwise, most of the things that we do are not urgent, but they come out and then the fines and the penalties kick in as soon as the regulation is posted?
Well, my concern and their concerns are the same, which is how do we grow our economy? And to me, that's the best way to prevent budget cuts and to reduce unemployment. And so anything I can do to help with that, I would like to do. And I'd like to listen to ideas that small businesses and other businesses have. And I'm very excited to be here. California has now had 8 straight months of increasing job creation, 18,200 for the last month. And February numbers were revised upwards from 4,000 new jobs created to over 30,000. So we're definitely trending in the right direction. The California state budget, even though we have a deficit, it is smaller than last year. And Standard & Poor's has upgraded our credit rating from negative to stable to now positive. So we're going in a good direction.
Now, not many people these days have a chance to fly in a B17 bomber, but on the aircraft's annual visit to the South Bay, a local resident shares his memories at being at the controls during World War II.
We flew 18 missions from England over Germany, and most of our missions were to Cologne, Germany, in the Ruhr Valley, and to Merseburg oil refineries, which were primary targets for us when I was there.
And you, before we go any farther, you're wearing your medals there. Would you tell us about them?
Well, the first one is the Air Medal with 1 cluster. They didn't give me credit for my 18th mission because we didn't get all the way. We only got to the end of the runway. And the Purple Heart. The other one is the European Theater. I have other medals, but I don't wear them. We ended up flying what we called a war-weary airplane. It was badly shot up while I was flying, and it had been in service before we took over the airplane. Of course, when we left it, it was a pile of junk because we crashed into a forest in England because of icing.
And when you were making a bombing run, you were stuck. You had to go basically in a straight line.
We had to fly straight through what they called a barrage. The German gunners were shooting up it. They knew our altitude. They could see our contrails. They knew our direction, but they shot their artillery that would explode at a certain altitude. It was a barometric trigger. And if we were at 25, 28,000 feet, 30, whatever, as soon as that, so these things were popping all around, and you just flew through. You didn't, and fortunately, we didn't get hit. And after the accident, 2 of the boys were killed in the crash, and the rest of the crew finished their 35 missions. I, of course, was in the hospital for almost a year and a half. Yeah.
Well, especially when you're making the bombing run. I know you were young, courageous, didn't think death would happen, but how did you really feel during that period of time?
You know, it's weird. I can still remember every time you're concentrating on the instruments and the airplane next to you so you don't bump into it, but every time out of your peripheral vision, if I saw it pop, I'd flinch. You couldn't help but, at least I couldn't help but flinch, waiting for that to hit me. But nothing ever hit me. We had flak go through the airplane and very close to us, but we were never hit.
And when we come back, it's Mother's Day on the Hill, and one of our own council members shares her favorite place on the peninsula. We'll be right back.